I'm Chester P. Hackenbush from the London Hip Hop Crew Task Force. You're standing outside Highbury Estate, which is where I grew up since I was 6 months old. We've been here for 30-something years. At a very young age, I found hip hop music, or it found me, and it had a profound effect on the way I live my life and on the way I view social situations. It's also become my method of communicating and something I aim to use as a tool to better the environment around me. So behind me we've got a street in Islington, but it's not just any old street in Islington, it is in fact the home of the Mayor of London, Mr. Alexander Boris the Piffle Johnson, who was educated in Eton and Oxford and is a prime example of the kind of people who rule our country, as opposed to those majority of us who have to live in it. Now, the whole point of this documentary is to highlight the tale of both cities, both the rich elite side of it and the impoverished side of it, and to try and suggest to people coming from a root level that we should be trying to take some action into our own hands and not relying on the likes of the people who live on streets like this to try and help those of us who don't, and that we have power and that we should empower ourselves and that we should always use that to our advantage and try and lead each other into a better life.
My project is, very close to my heart, is homelessness, and there's a lot of it. We all see it, we all go through it, we all know it's out there. So I've got t-shirts for sale. They cost a minimum of £15. Donations are encouraged and welcome. One t-shirt, 100% of all the profit is going to go to buying sleeping bags. I'm then going to go on to distribute in person to homeless people in the winter months coming. Now, one t-shirt sale will buy 2 sleeping bags. That means 2 homeless people get to be warm for a night. It ain't going to change the world, but it's damn well going to keep someone warm for a night, and I think that's the most important thing I'm trying to achieve. And while we do that, I'm going to have a film crew with me, and we're going to interview the homeless people firsthand on a root level, and we're going to talk to them about what they think us as a society can do for them, not just what the government can do for them, but us as people. I call this, I don't really call it nothing. I love you, she said. I want to make love to your mind, she said. I said, oh, really? She said, yeah, I want to unstrip your thoughts, get your head naked and make love to your mind, she said. I said, oh, really? She said, I'm really in love with the way you think. I wanna do all kinds of things to your mind, she said. I said, you know what, that sounds like a head fuck. Thank you very much.
UK hip-hop, it doesn't really get much bigger than, you know, Task Force and Chester P.
For me, he's just, you know, one of the people that brought UK hip-hop to life.
And he went to another place. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, they're like legends, basically, yeah.
He's the best. He's the best. I'm not even gonna lie, he's the best.
For me, Chester's a poet, man, and there's too few poets in the hip-hop scene.
He was one of those guys that you hear talking and you just think, like, where does he get it from?
Because, you know, you get pillars of hip-hop, you know, they started this shit, they are definitely one of them.
I think he's fantastic.
Legends, legendary.
They're pioneers in UK hip-hop.
Chester, for me, was a spokesperson from the council estate, a spokesperson to a life that was, not so many people didn't know about it, but it's real ghetto music.
You know, the occasions when fans have called me a legend and I have been called God, funnily enough, it's disturbing as much as it's flattering. I'm humble, I'm quite shy. If you catch me just after a show, then I'm full of adrenaline and bubbling away, and you know I'm not as shy as normal, but I am quite shy, and over the years you learn to take it well. Some people approach you in the wrong place, like in Morrison's, where I'm buying my baked beans to have with my baked potatoes on a very low budget, and then a fellow with a trolley full of steak and stuff tells me he downloaded my album illegally, but it's brilliant. That don't work too well for me. You're a legend. I downloaded your stuff for free. You're a legend. And you know, just think, okay, mate, not today. You know, a legend to me is John Lennon. Like, I'm not John Lennon, like, you know, I'm just Chess. Well, the name Chester P. Hackenbush is, the P stands for Percival. By the way, anyone interested, it's Chester Percival Hackenbush. It comes from a comic book by a writer and an artist from Newcastle called Brian Talbot. He's a wonderful man. In the late 70s, early 80s, he had a trilogy of comics out called Brainstorm, which featured Chester P. Hackenbush as the main character, who was a drug alchemist, basically, and he kind of amalgamated every single drug known to humankind into one tablet, took it and went on this amazing voyage. Ben.
Yo, safe man.
How are you? You alright, bruv?
Yeah.
So I've got the vector image. I'm going to send it over to you in the next few minutes. What do you think the turnaround on them getting done will be?
We should be able to say probably like 9-10 days.
Okay, that's cool, man.
Yeah.
Drug addiction is a first-hand experience for me for a long number of years. I first started getting into drugs from about 8 or 9 years old, just your typical smoking weed. As time proceeded, we're poor, we're young kids, we ain't got no money. We end up on solvents and gas and lighter petrol and fire extinguishers and glue and, name any of them cheap, nasty drugs, and I've done it. In my 20s, cocaine became a part of my life as I got successful in music, started making some money, could support habits that I previously couldn't, and that became the downfall of me as a human being, and it led me to some very dark places. It's only the past 7 months that I've been teetotal for the first time in my life since 9 or 8 years old. My father, he was a drug addict and alcoholic. He passed away from kidney failure. We watched that happen from childhood. He had to move away because it was devastating the household too much. He went and lived a life of vagrancy in Cornwall. He spent the rest of his time busking, was a very talented musician, was a famous pop star in the late 70s. He worked alongside Dave Stewart and Annie Lennox from the Eurythmics in the band they were primarily in, which was called The Tourists. It was kind of pop rock music, and it devastated him because he sold his soul and then never got the reward for it. They were severely ripped off by their manager and made no money at all after having a gold record and all this kind of stuff. They made no money, nothing at all. He went on to, like I say, destroy himself with drink and drugs, passed away in 97. So when I see homeless people, I instantly relate to the fact that there's a deeper mental health issue, and a lot of people say, they just want money for drugs. I'd give them money for drugs if that's what they want to keep warm at night, you know what I mean? That's their prerogative. People who ain't homeless want money for drugs. People who work in the city and earn millions and millions of pound bonuses, they want money for drugs. But we're not downward looking at them, we're not condescending on them.
Alright, today, this lovely box of treasure came to the house. These are Chester P for Mayor t-shirts, as I mentioned before, from the old slogan. Very pretty, should do the job. This one's like the size of a dress.
It came around in the early 2000s, and it was just a song I made randomly. And there's something about there's piss on the stairs, there's drug dealers in the square. There wouldn't be if Chester P was mayor, or some kind of silly slogan I made up. It wasn't even a good song, I never released it. And at the time I was around people who were making money, and they were interested in putting the money up to make me run for mayor. But the fact you have to put up 10 grand at that time, I don't know about now, but at that time it was £10,000 we would have had to put up. And I just thought, well, if we're going to spend 10 grand doing something as wacky as that, I'd rather just buy 10 grand's worth of food and feed the homeless. And that was my exact words to the people in question who wanted to fund it. Therefore, I've maintained a level of respect, and that's why people still talk about, to this day, Chester P for mayor. But I've made it clear to everyone I'm not running for mayor, but, the mayor's useless, so it might as well be me.
These are to be sold at a minimum of £15. They cost about £300 for the 100, so then potentially that's £1,200 profit. I've got a few quotes off sleeping bag companies like manufacturers, so we cut out all the middlemen. At a minimum, I'm hoping we'll get 200 sleeping bags out of this box of t-shirts alone. The only problem that arises is storing 200 sleeping bags, but that, like we said before, all problems will be conquered in a positive manner. So I think 200 sleeping bags is a great. I'm very happy with that, and that to me it seems like that will be the minimum. So really and truly, this is good. This is the first step conquered.
I've squatted a greenhouse in your heart. I've squatted a greenhouse in your heart. I don't care if you want me, it's comfy. Retail estate I put a lock on the gate, yes, I've squatted a greenhouse in your heart. I've squatted a greenhouse in your heart. So many souls without a place to sleep, 80,000 empty hearts in London at least. So I'm keeping your heart occupied. Squatters don't eat babies, the Evening Standard lies. And I've squatted a greenhouse in your heart.
Well, I'm one of the 29 mums from the hostel Focus E15, and in August last year we were handed eviction notices to say we had to leave our properties, and the council tried to send us to places like Manchester, Hastings and Birmingham. So we've been highlighting the issue of homelessness, people being socially cleansed and local housing in the area. All these luxury apartments and buildings that are being built, but they're not affordable for the local people. Local people are being pushed further and further out of London, and then the super rich, like foreign investors and bankers, they're buying properties and leaving them empty. So the population of London is just going to go down and down.
And these flats have been empty for how long?
These ones, the ground floor has been empty for 6 years, the top floor is 4 years, but some of the properties on the estate have been empty for over 8 years.
Yeah, and there's a lot of empty properties on this estate, is there?
Yeah, definitely. There's a few hundred on this estate alone, and there's so many estates across London of
A similar thing. So I mean, to me, it seems obvious that the real crime is that and not the actual squatting of an empty building. It seems pretty clear. What do you think can be done to get the authorities to kind of realise that we should be occupying these homes legally, so then there isn't all the hassle and then there isn't a need to spend money on security guards wasting time and on police helicopters coming and aggravating you? Is there anything you think we can do with the authority to make them understand that?
Yeah, well, I think just everybody standing together, people standing in solidarity with each other and fighting for the same thing, because social housing is a basic human right, and social housing is a system that actually works for the people. But the council, they were still profiting from social housing. It's not like they're losing out on any money. They're losing out more money by putting people in private rents that are insecure.
Yeah.
So it just doesn't make any sense whatsoever. So I think if everybody just stands together and shows the people in power that they work for us and we don't work for them, that's the main thing, I think.
Stretch out for thousands of miles. I squatted a greenhouse in your heart. I've stuck a section 6 on your arse.
All right, guys, you might have heard of this guy. He's done a few things like here and there, a couple of tunes and whatnot. You know what I mean? And since we're repping 90s hip-hop, I think Task Force were quite a big part of the UK's 90s hip-hop. What do you reckon?
Give you something to feel in the club. When your mind goes numb. Task Force on raw dog, give you something to feel. To the people on the street, give you something to feel. In the club, give you something to feel. When your mind goes numb, give you something to feel. Raw dog and Task Force, give you something to feel.
First time we ever got on stage, like in our like adult guys or teenage guys, we got booed as a crew. It might have been MC Mello, Hard Noise, and all these groups of the very early 90s. And we went to Subterranea, Intense, you, me, Skinny, and we got on stage. We had no invitation, began doing what we were doing, and we got completely booed. Yeah. But you always had a style of rap that no one got straight away, but it was instantly likable, but no one got it because it was on you had your own beat,
own rhythm.
It was a love or hate thing because you were so passionate. No one rapped like you because you used to go, but people loved the passion of Berry Crew, Mud Fam, and all of that, and we weren't taking no hostages. It was like, we come from mugging. We come from intimidation. We all knew that.
That was what got us.
So
through
you're
the door.
not gonna intimidate
Well, you know,
us.
we never paid to get in none of these clubs too, which made it extremely.
The whole thing.
It made it great because we would actually just buoy off the bouncers to get in 95% of the time, or climb through sky roofs, or
Jazz Cafe. We were coming in.
They would eject
through
us
the kitchen.
and then we'd come back in.
We were coming
and
in.
the bouncer would see you again. I think I just threw you out. And you're like, yeah, I'd throw you out again. You come back in.
Until people like John Z D
just let us in. Give us
the
a guest
Berry
list.
Crew have just got in.
I remember being young and actually busking just beatbox and
Yeah,
rapping
walking up
in
and
the
down
street
Harley Fields.
and kind of demanding money of people to do raps at them, but not the people who would even know what hip hop was at that point in history, just like people in suits and that.
Well, it's an absolute pleasure to have him in the house. He always absolutely smashed it. So make some massive noise for the one like Chester P.
How are you all doing tonight? I got an awful flu, man. I really should be in bed. But you know, sometimes you just got to do your job, innit ya? So I'm not going to whinge too badly, but sympathize with me because I love sympathy. But listen, I had some songs to perform, but I like poetry too. So I'm going to just do some acapellas of some stuff. It's a little esoteric, but anyone who ever really listened to Task Force or has ever seen me stand on a stage knows that I am a little esoteric, and half the time you're probably thinking, what the fuck is he saying? I don't really know, but I like the way it sounds. And that is me, so I know you'll accept me and appreciate me. Jay-Z had a song some years ago when he was good, and it was called 22. Sorry, any Jay-Z fans, you can shoot me outside. 22 twos, how did you know? Who said that? How did you know that? Jesus, yeah, he had a song called 22 twos. I decided to go one better than him, and I know the number 9 is a sacred number for many reasons, mainly because they used to believe in the 9 planets around us, so I did 69 nines because I like the number 69 for obvious reasons. Okay? So this is called 69 nines, and if you had the time and the patience, you could count them, and there probably is 69. I awoke into a dream of deceit on my 9th life in a room of pine boxes surrounded by 9 candles. Original time bandit brandishing 9 nines, only one with a dirty chamber, the blood of the 9th sign of the zodiacs. Pictures of fictional superheroes with 9 crimes to solve in the solace of dying lifelines. The 9th vision of more than a superstition, the writing was on the wall, the 9th line, it was admission. I read it the 9th time in a stupor of new suspicions, it smelt of the look of love, I recruited a new position. Reduced to the night shadows with one of the 9 troopers, the skin of the 9th serpent belonging to old Medusa. Stuck on the 9th labor, endangered in 9 seductions of truth, I reached my pinnacle, making my 9th maneuver with time in a glass chamber. I prayed on the 9th brain that remained in a strange place to be found as the 9th way to the heart of this new danger. With 99 remaining reviews of this whole deja vu, bewildering the rangers. Lost in a major clue, there's 1 ring and 9 wraiths, all protecting the last king from the end of the 9th age. It was raining. And turning the 7 to 9 oceans. A box of 9 potions, the theory of wooden horses as told by the 9th Trojan. Enrolling my mind's notions in factors of time's heartbeat. Wild as the 9 harpies who savagely robbed Phineas. Work of the 9th lineage, born in the 9th dimension, remaining to stay insidious. Light of 9 fires and 9 of the 12 lions, entrapped at the 9 levels of life in the 9th Zion. After the 9th order of angels that fell crying, the skies became divided for 9 of the stars dying, the 9 in the line of kings as a symbol of my position. I married the 9th daughter of Brahma and said, listen, I'm close to the 9th hour and due for my meditations. The virtues of Apollonius flooding my sensations, avoiding 9 arrows of fire from the 9th gallows of the interplanetary desires. The blind tarot reader pulled the 9th card 9 times in the 9th shadow. I left the fucking hermit as fast as the crow travels. Traveled the 9 leagues of fatigue with my mind bleeding, wearing 9 gems in defense from the 9 heathens. 99 problems revolving around leaving. I prayed for the 9th time in the day to defy meaning. In search of golden fleeces like 109 Cretians. I bartered with my release and I wrestled with 9 demons from the 99th realm of the world of the whole Goetia. I longed for 9 months in the womb and away from danger, and travelled 9 spheres like peers of Eleusinians, docking 999s on the ark of the 9th battalion, reading the 9th verse in the book of the Abyssinians, 40 times 9 in degrees of the true meridian, sitting with 9 Sufis discussing the ways of Gilgamesh, set for the 9th pilgrimage, guided through the wilderness, following 9 stars with 9 points, the last challenger, mastered 9 virtues using the 9 apertures, weaving 9 threads in the core of your mind's tapestry. Lost in the alchemy, mastering the alchemy is 9. 4 times 9 in full procession. 9, there's 9 more lives in my possession. 9, the planets aligned for my progression. 9 is 4 times 9 in full procession.
Sold a few in the hip hop house party where you guys came along. I sold another few in Swansea just exclusively for them. Not many, about 10 in each event, so there was about 80 left. Put them online, they sold in 12 hours, 13 hours they were gone. Ran into some problems with the shipping of the t-shirts themselves because they're being manufactured in China, being made up especially to order. I didn't estimate how big and heavy 200 sleeping bags might be, so when I got the quote was coming back at like £2,000 for aeroplane freight, which in reality it was way over the money the t-shirts were going to raise after the sleeping bags are paid for. It was about £300 or £400 change, so truly it raised a small problem. I kind of went into that mode where you have to deal with problems in a certain way and not see them as problems but more like challenges of your will and challenges of your state of mind. So I kind of put the word out that I'm struggling with that situation and found a guy who's a fan of Task Force who actually runs a shipping company from China, no less, which is like quite amazing, you know what I mean? And he offered to do the job for free as his contribution to the actual cause.
You know, it got back to our ears about Tesco in Regent Street putting up these homeless spikes. These spikes that stop people sleeping and getting cover from the rain and places like this. And to be honest, we were kind of disgusted. Obviously, when we heard about it, we was like, it's a fucking joke, innit? Like, and we just got to the point where we were like, fuck it, innit? Let's do something about it. I think Left Unity planned a demo outside the Tesco, and we heard about the demo, so we went there Wednesday night, innit? Just before the demo was planned. Went there about, I think, 4 o'clock in the morning, dressed, got some high vis and some concrete. I think we went to a Conway building site and teethed out a load of construction equipment and ended up wheeling it from around SOAS to Regent Street, all through Chinatown, like dressed as builders. And then we got there, mixed up the concrete to a Conway site across the road. So we didn't actually steal anything from the Conway site, just in case like you got your stuff back in it. Yeah,
just borrow it.
Yeah, we just borrowed it in it for appearances purposes. We mixed up the concrete and ran over and just did it like.
Yeah, it's a good cause.
Yeah, it was a case of just saying, well, fuck it, innit? Yeah. We're the kind of people that will go and do it if no one else wants it. If people are just gonna have a demo, at the end of the day, they'd have had a demo and nothing would have happened. You know what I'm trying to say? As it happened, when they were starting the demo, they were taking away the spikes because they looked fucked up because we fucked them up. So that was the main point. It weren't really about creating a nice bed over them. It was just fuck them up.
So that they have to get moved.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I mean, that whole spike thing. It reminds me of what they do on bridges. On the tops of bridges, pigeons. On the canal for pigeons, you know what I mean? It's like the way they're trying to cull the homeless. It's like, you know what I mean? It's like they're trying to deal with people like with pigeons. I mean, I think it's bad enough they do it to pigeons. People's generosity doesn't fail to amaze me. It hasn't ceased to amaze me throughout. It's nice to show people what real charity is. You know what I mean? I'm not raising money to give to a charity who then does what they do with the money, which you never really know, is it doing any good or not. It takes up a little bit of time, but I'm happy to have my time taken up because otherwise I get bored and restless and get myself into silly, stupid things I don't need to be in. We're always just a little step behind America, whether it's with our gang problem, the war on drugs, all of it. It's all used to persecute the people down here, innit? You know what I'm trying to say? We're the people on the ground. You know what I'm trying to say? We're the ones who having to see our youngers and our elders die over some bullshit. Realistically, it's just perpetuated by the system. Yeah. You know what I'm trying to say? They need people in jail. That's what people don't realise. They're making money, bro. They're making big money off taking man off the road, putting them in a private prison and let them work there, packaging bullshit. It's slave labour, bro. Yeah. You know what I'm trying to say? And we hear about slave labour, like people in sweatshops in different countries, Indonesia making this clothing and that clothing, but what about the sweatshops in jails, man? No one talks about that.
That's it, bro. Like, don't think, every time you open like a Milky Way bar, that probably got packaged up in Peterborough, like some shit like that.
So I mean, is that the stance generally you feel as a mass populace out the road, is like kind of people are getting tired of protesting, and it's time to kind of start demanding, like go beyond that protesting
bro.
situation.
We're not going to do this Atos thing where we go and claim for benefits and then they take us off and we're so fucking depressed we're not killing ourselves or dying of starvation or dying of cold and in our yards, brother. You fucking mad. No more, brother. Revolutionaries, brother. Rather revolutionary suicide than reactionary suicide all day, innit? If that's what it is. If the feds want to come kill me like they did Mark Duggan, you know what I'm trying to say? Well, I'll stand right here and I'll put my 2 fingers up like this. You know what I'm trying to say? Not my 2 hands up like Mark Duggan did. You know what I'm trying to say? 2 hands up, yeah? Nah, mate. 2 fingers up, bro. Fuck y'all, innit? You know what I'm trying to say? Ride or die, bro. We live in this life for a long time. Ride or die against each other. Killing each other for what? For what? You know what I'm trying to say? And you know what? The music's a big thing, Chester.
Yeah.
That's why I'm happy you're making this doc, bro, because people don't seem to not realise the influence they have. You know what I'm trying to say?
I think people shun the responsibility.
They shun it.
Yeah,
that's it.
I feel like they even do realise and just pretend they don't realise, because then it means they'd have to take some responsibility for what people are saying. American rappers especially, but to me just that whole like postcode thing, all of that stuff is like you're fighting over bricks and mortar that none of us own, and even if you buy it, you don't own it. When they want to take it, they'll take it.
That's it. When your parents moved there in the first place, you think that's where they wanted to live? You think they said, yo, we're gonna go and live in that block, that rundown block with that pissy lift. That's where we want to live. Nah, mate, that's where we were put. That's where we were segregated in them fucking camps right there, bro.
And we
you know
shouldn't be proud
we're
of
killing
it,
each other over that.
We shouldn't be proud of that at all.
Man.
No one should, man.
Rather go take over an empty mansion, innit?
Exactly. That's something to be proud of. And I think it's time for rappers to take some kind of responsibility and take a stance towards just trying to like give the youth something to be inspired by, which isn't killing themselves, basically. You know what I mean? I think there will be a domino effect, and I think other people will say, and you know, people have been doing charitable stuff in music and all kinds of music for years. I'm doing everything I can firsthand to do the best I can imagine doing for someone.
The bottom line is our rent went up from £640 a month to £800. We were originally told that in 2016 our rent would go up to market value. For those that don't get that you're looking at £2,000 a month. We recently had a partial victory and we managed to beat one of the richest Tory MPs in the country, and he didn't basically have the bollocks to stand here and finish what he started. So now we've been left to deal with Westbrook, who are a massive US property development company, and I think who have now retracted on their original contracts, which was to give us affordable rents to 2016. They've told us they want us out ASAP. I think what us girls are here to say is that we ain't going nowhere. The New Era estate is here to stay. We've lived here all our lives. You're not going to take our homes. You ain't taking our children's homes, and you're not taking away our children's futures. We're here to stay and we're here to fight, and that's the message we just want to get across to people. This is something that's going to affect all of you.
I mean, poverty itself is something I relate to, and I'm also very on the side of the underdog and people who seem to me to be systematically ignored.
This is a crisis. This is a housing crisis. We're regressing back into Victorian times. We're talking about people on 0-hour contracts, people that ain't safe in their own homes anymore, working people that can't, are scared about what their future is going to have for them.
Who have contributed to the way this country is run.
Well,
we're the ones that put the money in.
Exactly.
We're the ones that go out from 8 in the morning and don't get in our homes until 8 at night, grafting for minimum wage or what, you know, a lot of people. You only have to look on our Facebook, on our Twitter, on our .org to see how many supporters we've actually got. And people are sick of the way the government are running this country. It's time that we stand up, we make a change, and we are our own people, and we run this place, not you. You're doing nothing for us. We're the ones that are going to make the change.
Homelessness is one step away from anyone who struggles financially or mentally, and there's been times in my own life where I haven't mentally risen to the challenges of owning a flat. I couldn't deal with the system. So letters would come and I'd see red letters and see all different kinds of things coming through my door and just not even open them. I just put them in the bin. It doesn't work, you know what I mean? So I was very close to being put out of this. And I don't think I'd ever have to sleep in the street, because I'm one of them people who's made a lot of friends over the years. But I think a lot of people can appreciate how close to homelessness you can be when poverty is a part of your world.
The most powerful thing in the world is people standing together. it goes across everything. People are frightened of it. They're scared about it. They don't know what to do with the people the likes of us, because we've got something they're never going to have. We've got solidarity. We've got love. We've got community. We care about each other, and that is something that these people are never going to understand.
That's true.
There's over 70,000 empty properties in London alone, and it bewilders me that they're not opened up and shared with homeless people to live in. It absolutely bewilders me.
Housing is a human right. Here to stay, here to fight. Housing is a human right. Here to stay, here to fight.
We're not just talking about Lewisham, we're talking about Southwark, we're talking about Lambeth, we're talking about Newham, we're talking about all of these Labour councils.
Unfit for human habitation flats where the mould grows over their ceilings and the council does nothing about it. £2 million was given to development done by Lewisham Council.
Politics and the law no longer represent the people that are in need. I'm not saying go out and commit crime all the time, but I'm saying defend yourself and defend your right for the basic things that sustain your life. And housing is one of them. It's not a commodity, it's a human right, it's a need, and we will defend that. People are also getting hounded by immigration police and being detained if they are found to be rough sleeping. That for me, that's also completely wrong. People are being held in detention centres or deported, taken back to places that they've fled from because they're homeless. Immigration is a wonderful thing, and it makes London what it is, and I hope the rest of the world gets to enjoy the benefits as we progress as humanity. It needs to be sustained, and it needs infrastructure. We need more infrastructure, we need more homes, we need to support this wonderful thing.
It's definitely a beautiful thing to have so much culture around us to absorb.
I love it.
Of course, it's the most beautiful thing.
Shame on you, Lewisham Council. How dare you treat the people in our community like that? Why we are here is because we want to speak to somebody from Lewisham Council about homelessness in this borough. We wrote a letter to Lewisham Council 2 weeks ago. We have not had a response. Whose council? Our council. Will the council staff begin to behave? Can you behave with some respect towards the people of Lewisham?
If you can't stand up for your rights, you don't have any, and no one's going to stand up for them but you.
Call it the Manhattanisation of E1, and most of the people that are born here, that have lived here, have been forced to move out because the rents have become absolutely incredible, probably double their wages. There is some social housing around here, and there are a few DOS houses and so on, but not much. It's all going to the rich. Now, we haven't been able to do anything to stem this tide of yuppification and Manhattanisation. But what really angered some of the local residents around here is when we found out that although there is social housing here, that the people using the social housing have to go around the alleyway at the back to their own separate entrance, which is full of needles from junkies, cans from alcoholics, and vomit from the party goers that use it as a sort of toilet. And so the rich go in that door and the poor go in through the poor doors. About 6 months ago, we started to mount a picket here. About 30 people turned up. It was organised by the anarchist class war group, but it pulled in quite a few local residents and quite a few sympathisers and quite a few people that were just passing by on their way home from work. We maintained it for about 6 months. I think our lowest figure was about 30, average was about 40, but one night we actually got along about 200, 250 people. As we started, there wasn't many police, but towards the end, the whole entrance was completely blocked by the police, which was good for us because it stopped them from getting in. So basically, we mounted the picket right here outside the door. And this is the pour door. No chandelier, no concierge, no comfy seats, nothing.
Yeah, do you think this whole poor door, rich door thing is common around the whole of London, or is it?
Well, it was going to become common, but since this, apparently several other schemes have abandoned it. Yes.
Yeah.
Although there is another scheme down the road where the old Murdoch Press used to be. They're not actually building any pour doors. What they're doing is they're having a kind of a segregation where they have the big development for the rich, and then just outside there's the social tenants bit. Absolutely. But there's no pour doors.
Right, they've come today, we've just stored them in here. Clearly they're not going to fit in my little flat, so luckily we've got the place locked to store them. This is like the final step to me. This was the, obviously now they're here, it's finalised. I feel mad proud basically, and probably happy. It's the best Christmas present I could have had this year, for real. Basically, in these boxes we've got sleeping bags, 20 rucksacks which are filled with sleeping bag, gloves, socks, scarves, jumper, which was kindly donated by 4649 Worldwide Clothing, who'd come and dropped them all off on me last night, which is just a blessing because as you can see now we've got a whole little pack. We're going to jam all the stuff into a car, a bunch of us are going to get on buses, go out to central London. In total this is going to be quite an adventure, looking forward to it.
recently, being Christmas, whatever, a number of activists and homeless people took this building across the road that's been lying empty for almost 2 years. We stayed there for about 3 or 4 days, and we were evicted by the police illegally. We were forced out. At the court, we actually got to the judge. The judge overturned the decision and said that we were allowed to stay in that building over Christmas to serve the homeless, to feed the homeless, to help the homeless. You know, the judge had pity on us. The police wouldn't listen to us. They wouldn't let us back into the building illegally. They stopped us. We served hundreds of people here, hundreds of people. And we're still here. We're going to stay here. Because tonight, I mean, Crisis at Christmas is closed.
Yeah.
So thousands.
That's why it closes tonight at 9 o'clock or something.
9 o'clock tonight it's closed. So tonight, over 1,000 people are going to hit the streets again with no sleeping bags.
No, nothing to keep them warm.
So we're going to be here to try and help them.
That's cool. Well, we've got some sleeping bags. I mean, I've been informed lately that the police have been given a new power to actually confiscate sleeping bags and stuff like that. Is that the case? Is it?
Operation Encompass.
So, I mean, to them, they're saying that that's tackling homelessness, but really it's killing homeless people. I mean, in your opinion, what do you think normal people, can be doing more to help? Like, how can we do anything?
Normal people, well, everybody's normal. I mean, homeless people are normal.
No, I didn't mean it like that. I meant normal as opposed to police ain't normal. That's
we need to raise awareness. We need to raise awareness.
Yeah.
Listen, no, yeah, man.
I'm all right. How are you? I haven't seen you for ages. Don't strangle me tonight. I need some air. How are you keeping? You keeping all right, as best as can be?
We done it.
That's it. It's all done up. It's tamper-proof. Do you want to talk to us?
Hey, see you. Is that a geezer?
There's a geezer there.
Is that a geezer?
He's one of the geezers.
What? Right, is he the bad boy? Don't you start on me, Blondie.
Don't start on him, Blondie. I think he's got the monopoly on the area.
You bad boy.
You're a bad boy yourself, ain't ya? That's it, mate. Hey?
I do believe, you know, it was embarrassment to the police and to the Westminster Council that we were there doing what actually they should really be doing.
What they should be doing, that's it.
Yeah.
And do you think, like, with homelessness, there's a serious issue with mental health problems and other problems that come along with it, and drug problems that are not what are being overlooked in the whole situation?
There's a couple of things that we've got the whole cuts to the NHS where, you know, we get people who have got mental health problems, can't access adequate services. We've got people with addiction services, can't access adequate services. We've got people who are out, maybe vulnerable people who could fall into bad company, you know, and that does happen out in the streets. Because some people do fall into alcohol, some people do fall into drugs, because it's a way to cocoon themselves, to hide themselves in reality.
So it keeps you warm and all.
You know what I mean? It's a false economy, but that's why it happens.
We're going to come back up here tomorrow night, bring some more stuff, bring some more sleeping bags for more organisations that are made by the people, for the people, and basically that's it. Now we're just going to head off and find people sleeping rough or trying to sleep rough and give them something to keep them a bit warmer. So that's us for now. Music is what I do, so I sold some music and I bought all this stuff so we can come and give it to you guys. Rap music? Yeah. Oh, you play drums? Yeah? Okay. What was the hip hop band called? G-Unit. Hey. Gypsy.
It's Gypsy Unit.
Gypsy Unit.
Maybe it's God Unit. God, understand? God.
Gypsy Unit. I like
Maybe
that.
Maybe it's God Unit.
Want to be a nice person, like I treat people the way I like to treat dead.
That's a good philosophy, you can't
Yeah,
really go
man.
far wrong
Yeah,
with that.
yeah.
Do you need a rucksack at all?
Oh, I do indeed.
I'll tell you what,
man,
give me that sleeping bag in there, some socks, a rucksack, a jumper.
Wow.
There's all sorts of stuff in there for you.
Oh.
All right, there's one of these in there, a jumper.
Heritage, is
all
that you
kinds of
guys?
things. No, it's just somebody donated this to us to give to homeless
What do
people.
you call yourselves?
Just people.
Gang of students, yeah?
Not students, man. Not students.
You all look like students.
I'm not a student, I'm far too old. We're just people, man.
People who care.
Musicians. We're musicians.
Oh, I love
primarily.
music.
Yeah. Do you play any music?
Yeah.
Yeah.
In my head,
In your head, that's the best place to play.
Oh, lovely. Thank you so much,
Thank you.
guys.
You're a gentleman.
Oh.
Where are you heading tonight?
Oh, gosh.
That's
Do you want me
not
to
too
make it,
personal a
bro?
question.
Not at all, man. I just keep moving at night
Do you bed down in parks or actually
No,
in the
no,
street?
no. I use a church.
Okay. You've got a little more than you did when you met us. So.
Oh, I'm chuffed, man. All I can go in the bin now. I got a.
You got a bag.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. What's your name?
Chester.
I won't go through you all, like.
Yeah. I can't remember
Chester's
everyone's
Crib.
name. Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, Chester's
Yeah, man.
Crib.
Awesome.
Listen, brother, you've been a legend.
Thank you, guys.
You keep yourself as safe
Yeah.
as possible.
Say a prayer for me
I
to
will
whoever
do.
your deity is.
Hey, it's nature for me, but
Yeah, of
I will
course.
keep you in my
I like
thoughts,
that.
man.
Yeah.
I'll keep you in my thoughts.
Yeah. Such a
Alright.
shame the world's gone to piss, innit?
You know what? It's got to learn. It's got to go through all that it's going
it
through,
don't-
so we can
it
learn
don't listen
empathy
to it.
for each other a bit more.
Listen,
see? Do you want some big gloves?
Please.
See,
I wear
we've
these
got.
when,
We've
I
got.
don't use my
Sometimes
hands.
people have to struggle, so they can learn to have empathy for people who are
It
struggling.
ain't gonna happen, no, is it,
It
Rob?
will.
You
Maybe
think?
not in our lifetime.
No, not in ours.
But we're getting there slowly with each generation. Boundaries are being broken.
You just, do you really believe that, or is it just
I
something
try.
you hope?
Nah, I believe it.
Live in hope.
I believe it. Do you
Well,
know what
yeah,
it is?
yeah.
You've got
Actions is louder
this
than
is it.
words,
You've got to
like.
be the
And money
change.
is
You've
louder
got to be
than
the change
anything.
you want to see in the
Yeah,
world.
yeah, of course.
So I start with myself, and then you know, I be who I want everyone else to be, and hope that they can follow the example.
Yeah. I just want to share the love, you know.
Yeah.
Share
Love's
a bit of,
important.
Chucks a bit of money as well, like, because I
Yeah.
need to eat
Yeah,
too.
of course you do.
And I don't want to thieve and be a bloody nuisance.
I hear that, man.
Hey.
That's a nice philosophy you've got there.
Cool.
But you know, perhaps the universe will look after you like that.
Ah, yeah, man. Oh no, I'm waiting for the next hop.
Yeah.
You know, that's where I belong.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Listen, you'll see us out
I was,
here
if you
again.
like, we're all experiments. I was one that failed for this.
Nah, you ain't failed, man.
Oxygen.
You ain't failed.
Oxygen's
Yeah,
not
that-
really
that-
good
that
for you.
let yourself believe
Think
you
about
failed.
it. It's not really good for you.
But I mean, oxygen's not so bad. It's just what they pump into the oxygen.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
It's gonna go to hell, guys. It is.
It's
Have
alright.
faith, though.
This
Have
is it.
faith in each other.
This is it.
That's all we can do.
Have faith in people, man.
Did I don't mean
We're
to
coming
sound
through. We're coming through.
bloody what's it called,
Cynical.
defeatist or what have you. But
Well, you've
there
got-
are people out there.
Yeah, of course there are.
I'm from Valley. Middle of
Whereabouts in Wales?
Llandilo.
Okay, I don't know that.
Small little place where people like me can't survive.
Yeah.
You know, there's enough hippie communes there.
Yeah. What, TP Valley?
Yeah,
there, isn't
TP
there?
Valley's we're the closest village to it, so I spent
Oh,
many
okay,
many
I
a
see.
year there. Like,
Yeah, my cousin lives there.
okay, beautiful. But yeah, it's just a shame that here right now is like, why don't I work? And then you're saying, why can't I work? Like, I'm as able-bodied as the rest of you. Are you working?
Music.
Music. Do you pay your taxes?
I try not to.
I don't blame you either. Where are you giving them money for?
Oh, yeah, God knows.
Come on, guys.
That's like some backwards Robin Hood stuff.
Oh, it's disgusting, man.
Rob from the poor and give to the rich.
Yeah, and what for? To see how fucking big a bomb they can make.
Exactly.
Come on,
Who needs it?
man. So sad.
Yeah.
Anyway, finish on a happy note,
Yeah,
guys. Come
let's do
on,
that.
find something fucking good to say.
Tonight is kind of how I'd expect it to be. Homeless people themselves, it almost feels like an intrusion to put cameras on them. A lot of them, for their own reasons, don't want to be filmed. Some of them are running from things that they don't want to tell us about, which is totally cool with me. And in a way, it almost feels like we're taking away from the act of charity by saying, have this now, can we film you? So we're obviously going to totally respect their decision not to be filmed. We've got some wonderful footage with some of the homeless people who wanted to talk. Just met Justin up the road, great guy, a great way of talking. the Charing Cross part, you know, filming the characters in general. We had the guy with the gypsy unit tattoo. The key point is that we got rid of at least 90 sleeping bags, so that's 90 people sleeping warmer than they would have, and that's all it is really. Other than that, I think we'll be back out here tomorrow, but we've got a little bit more of an organised drop to do, so we'll get rid of some. Me and a couple of the gang, we're going to stay with the remaining 15, 20 bags, and we're going to get rid of them before we go home tonight, but without a camera basically, so all good, man. Hip-hop at its present stage, it looks to me like an adolescent child who's rebelling against its parents. So it looks like a tree that don't love its roots no more. It just looks like the acorn that's pretending it's not an acorn and it fell from an oak tree. It just doesn't seem to represent what it used to me, but I do believe another era's coming where it's going to return to its more conscious, social aware kind of roots. It's music from poverty, primarily, and I don't mean anyone not from poverty can't do it or can't involve themselves in it, because that would be as ridiculous as saying white people can't do it or can't involve themselves in it because it comes from Puerto Ricans and black people originally. But I don't segregate things like that. But it did originate in the ghettos of America. When it first started, its message was to try and be happy, you know, like it was like you could hear that they were trying to have something that took their mind off of all of the depression and the poverty, and it was very kind of happy sounding, and it evolved into being socially aware and a voice for poor people to express the injustice of the world. And slowly as time's gone on, it's become a money machine, you know. And the thing with art is as soon as money becomes an artist's objective, they conform and change their art into a substance that they can then sell rather than keep it real. And that's what money does to all art, and it's done to every single music genre over the years. Rock and roll, folk music, punk rock, all of them have lived and died a similar death. I've put myself in a position where we've refused big record deals on the strength of not wanting anyone to interfere with how I make my music, because it means that much to me. When I saw my old man ripped off by the music industry, I made a promise to myself and to him as he was buried that I would never let that happen to me, and I'm going to be real to my art form because I'm an artist. Music's guided me, it's been my lighthouse. That's what it is to me. It's kind of become a step in a longer journey for me personally. A part of me was a little bit concerned that I didn't really just want to get here, finish, and then not carry on, do you know what I mean? Because it's incited some kind of flame inside me. It's given me a better cause to put effort into certain situations, which in my opinion will not only better the people who we're trying to help, it will better myself as a person, and the way I'm going to involve music and hip-hop music as an art form to get involved and badger the rest of the community in hip-hop to get involved, and put pressure on people who don't feel like they should get involved, basically, and make them understand that it is an involvement we should all be taking, because that is really what hip-hop music is structured on, is socio-political movement. I'm thinking long-term. For tonight, we're just going to ride up to Charing Cross and get rid of the rest of these sleeping bags. So we've come here tonight to Charing Cross where we were last night, and the people have been illegally evicted from the RBS building, and now they're trying to move them from the pavement. We were going to leave the sleeping bags here and have them distributed from here, but we've kind of decided not to do that because there's an awful lot of police trying to cordon off the group of guys there. So what we're going to do is kind of stand there and see how things pan out and keep a camera on the police to make sure no more illegal activity goes on their part.
Arrest the real criminals!
Yesterday this was a nice peaceful thing where there was food being offered to homeless people. We were giving out sleeping bags to homeless people and trying to do the right thing. Today the police are here, and as always when the police turn up things get horrible. People's emotions rise, and like everyone here is saying, they always seem to be harassing innocent people while paedophiles, bankers and the likes of such politicians who are stealing taxpayers' money to pay for expenses seem to continue to abuse good people on a daily level. As we can see, the police are using their usual aggressive manner. They're trying to incite some kind of violence. It's exactly what they want. And this is what they do every time there's any kind of real need for help. The system's completely against good people, and it's just another day in the life of living, isn't it?
Police! Please kill that guy now!
As it stands, the police seem to have retreated, and it seems to have calmed down a bit in that area, so we're going to stand and just give out some sleeping bags. And that's basically what we're doing here now. We've basically brought 3 boxes of 10 sleeping bags, just so we can get it announced here to any of the homeless people here to come and get some sleeping bags, rather than us abort our whole mission. So a bunch of the guys here, they're going to take them to spots where they know people are sleeping on the street tonight and give them some sleeping bags to make sure, because it's cold out here, you know what I mean?
In by the tube station, down by Charing Cross, up the way, where we can.
After the 2012 Act that banned the squatting of residential property, squatting has become a lot harder, a lot colder. So I think one of our demands for being locked on here would be to repeal the 2012 Act, which would re-allow the squatting of residential property.
That seems perfectly reasonable to me. Well, listen, I think your plight in general and your movement in general is a beautiful thing, and it's a shame to see such negative-minded forces trying to disrupt that and turn it into something worse. I really love and respect what you're doing, so all the best.
Thank you very much.
Two people who actively help homeless people, feed them, give them information, help them on their courses.
Do you mind? Do you mind, mate? Can you move on, please?
We've been helping people.
We've been helping the homeless. We've been helping the homeless. You fuck off, mate.
Tea, hot soup, food, clothing and stuff like that.
Fuck off.
For helping people.
For
helping people. Who are you helping?
Who are you? Who are you? Go move along, mate.
I'm a fucking monkey.
Move along, man. Move along. No one's asked you here. Move along, clown.
I feel it. What do you want to tell her?
I don't want your money if you're going to talk to me like that.
We don't want your money. We don't want anything from you.
Keep your money.
Keep it moving.
Keep the 20
Keep
quid.
it moving.
We don't want your money.
We don't want your money.
No one wants your money.
Free the homeless. Why there's no reason for anybody that's homeless.
You're dead right. Have you been talking to someone?
That's what we're here for.
You just come over and told us all to
It's
fuck
all
off.
the fuck off. So why are you telling us to fuck off about?
St Martin's in the field.
Your point is incoherent.
It's been handing out soup for the last 50 years.
Okay.
Do you
We're
understand
on
what
their
I'm
side.
saying? You are not skin people.
You're incoherent.
Yes, you are here. You don't even know us, mate. You don't know us.
Work 10 hours a day.
Don't let him take it. Moron.
Idiot.
You moron.
Keep it moving, you fat mug. All we were trying to do is give homeless people a bit of hope for the festive season. Some clothes, some food, tea, coffee, just a bit of comfort, a bit of conversation, you know?
Personally, it's not just about empty buildings for me, it's about allocation of resources and land and stuff like that. We don't need banks. What we need is houses, what we need is schools, hospitals, kitchens and things, things that are of this like.
We did this off our own backs, you know? This was just a thought in someone's mind. This is power of the people, happening right before your very eyes. And the police are trying to smash it out, but it ain't gonna work. We're around the corner already. We've already got a new place. We've already got somewhere else so they can carry on. My mum's a single mum. She's raised 2 kids on working. We didn't get to see our mum for most of our childhood because she was working all the time. She didn't, and then when she come home, she's too tired to look after us. And this is why, people are docile. You see, people don't have the time to think about the bigger picture because they're worried about putting food in their kids' mouths and clothing their kids. The people don't have time to come out and do everything like this. There's traps upon traps upon traps within the system that mean people are living on the streets. There's 10 buildings to every one homeless person.
One of the main messages that I think is beautiful about you guys being here is the fact that we can govern ourselves in unity amongst a group of people, you know what I mean? And to me, this is what all human beings need to start understanding, is that to govern ourselves is when we finally take the power away from our governors. And that to me is an important thing to mentally keep in our psyches, because they bully us into submission, into feeling like we must follow. It's coming to a time where there's a split road, and we're gonna have to actually split. You know what I mean? There's going to be one side versus the other, which is a shame, because most of the people here are peace-loving people. But when approached with true violence and fascism and negativity, then we obviously have to learn how to defend ourselves. And that's what we're going to do to the end, all of us. And that ain't just homeless people, that's people, anyone who knows. All of us know that society is a motherfucker right now. And it's time for change. We all know, standing here, we can be arrested and picked off one by one on our way homes, and they can make up any story in court why they want to put us in their cells. But we all know we're innocent, and they're the real criminals. We got bankers, paedophiles on TV. What they're doing to our society is disgusting. They spend more money on expenses than my family sees in a lifetime. We're not having no more of that shit.
Nah.
It's time for us to govern ourselves, and one way or another we will take back that power.
Power to the people, freedom to mankind.
Never, it's true, man. It's true, man. And that's that. We've come to the legendary London's very own Trafalgar Square, where you've got the king-size Christmas tree just a few metres shorter than Nelson's column, and a young man has took it upon himself to climb up into the middle of that tree and place a banner that says homes not jails and legalise squatting, which none of us could disagree with if we're honest about it. He's been up there a while getting the banner sorted out properly. Some nice young police officers have arrived. This is obviously not in their journal and their textbook way, so they have no idea how to deal with a man up a tree, so it's a bit confusing for them, which is a great thing to see such empuzzlement on such inferior men's faces. We're all having a great time here, to be honest. This is protest in its fullest degree. As you can see, he's up there, he's got his sign. He's a very adequate climber. I have full faith that he's not going to fall, and I think it's been a good day and all. Maybe some tree climbing police might arrive very shortly. We can hear sirens in the background. But to be honest, I think he's won. Thursdays is usually my day where I come up here and I do a mammoth walkabout, and I bring this big bag, and this bag I don't go home until this bag's empty, right? Inside this bag we've got trainers someone asked for, hats, socks, gloves. We've been told by high official council workers who try to kind of get us under their umbrella that they, you know, if we give someone a tent, they'll take it off them. If you can have your sleeping bags taken off you, you can do this. It's not even legal for us to do what we're doing. The charities set up, the big funded charities, they're making a lot of money and none of it's going to where it should go. And that's for real, you know, none of it's going to where it should go. The homeless people don't trust these charities, they don't trust their outreach workers, and they don't accept help from them. We're doing our best to kind of help. We know we can't change it, we know we can't save the world, but we can definitely restore a little bit of faith in people who have got very little faith in humanity, and that's the task.
People look at me like a criminal because I'm homeless. Hey, it's not my fault I'm homeless. It's not my fault. You've got to be in the situation to do it. Take your coat off, put no coat on, come out and experience it. What's the way people look at you and the way people just look at you like you're vermin? But it can happen to anyone.
Of course it can.
It can happen to anyone. Anyone can have a nervous breakdown. Jesus, I see people walking past me every day, and I know they're having a breakdown.
They're on
and
the
the next thing you know, they're gone missing. They just wouldn't run off. You know, I've seen it in my own eyes, and it's sad.
I was 7 months sober. That seems like not a long time to me, but at the time it felt like I'd done amazingly well. I don't know what I am now. It must be like 15, 16 months sober. I'm doing well. I'm on a good plateau. I have my bipolar kicks in for a moment here and there, as people around me might be aware of. My grumpy text messages and my weird ways when it happens. People have learned to deal with. You know, it's up and down as everyone's life is, but in total, I feel whole as a person, and I feel very strong. It feels slightly surreal, some of it, and even myself, I'm very impressed with the way it all kind of it worked, you know what I mean? I'm glad I don't have to stand here and say, oh, well, you know what I did, nothing's come of it, I'm just back on my normal grind. Don't want a medal, don't want a round of applause, just want to see a smile on a few faces.
I was talented playing the guitar, and what happened? I lost my fingers. I could play that, but then that was taken away from me.
You still play it bloody well.
I still play well, yeah, but not as good as I used to.
When Damo told us he plays guitar and he had his guitar soloing and stuff, we decided we'd get him a guitar and a harmonica and whatnot.
Yeah.
And give him some more instruments so he can sit here and busk and earn his keep, you know what I mean?
I want to earn my keep. I don't ask
Of course
nobody
he
for
does.
nothing.
He doesn't ask for
nobody
nothing.
For
How long you been at it?
Jesus, I can't even remember.
It's over a
now.
decade, eh?
I got stabbed up over there.
He's been stabbed in his head, you know what I mean?
I was on a life support machine. I got stabbed because someone was kicking my dog. And a lot of things happen.
It's a hard knocks life out here for the people in the street, and it's up to us, all of us.
No, it's not up to you.
No,
it's up to everybody.
That's what I mean. All of us, everyone.
If a lot of people can make it, if not one person can't make a difference. A lot of people can make a difference.
It's the consciousness that needs to change. It's like he's saying, it's our awareness. It's respecting that people out here are human beings.
He ain't heavy. He's my brother.
That's
Give
it,
me a
bro.
hand. Give me a hand and pick you up. You know what I mean?
It, mate.
When you're down, I'll pick you up.
Never look down on someone unless you're picking them up.
Pick them up.
This man's a legend. You know what I mean?
All right, lads. Have a nice night.
We'll try, man.
The trick about this game, in England especially, is you got to learn how to make it fun, permanently, because otherwise it just ain't fun, is it? And you know, we don't really make much money. In fact, I make fucking loads of money, but most of it went up my nostrils. It's a sad shame. Nah, we don't make no money out here. We just do what we can. We're surviving. It's a humble living. And thankfully, the tax man can fuck off because I don't make enough for him to tax. And if I did, then I'd sign on and get some of it back, you know? Simple, innit? Good equation. But you got to make this game fun. You got to make life fun. You got to make it worth living. Times are hard. There's bad things going on in the world, but ain't no worrying gonna save us from none of that. What is gonna happen is gonna happen no matter how many hours you spend procrastinating on troubles. You just gotta live your fucking life and live it how you wanna live it. We all know the difference between right and wrong. There's a few things in this world that I can never ever condone and that should be put to rest. People like Jimmy Savile and Rolf Harris who molest the children and smile while they're in court. I know that while they're in jail, they're gonna get raped, and I'm happy with that. That's great justice, you know. Fuck paedophilia, fuck the Queen and her fucking baby eating children. Now I don't do conspiracies, just fuck them people, you know. They don't do nothing for us and our country. Fuck politicians. running around with their legislations and going, ooh, and criticising people who they think can live on £7 a day while they spend £700 on meals out of taxpayers' money and tell us that's expenses. Fuck their expenses. One day we're going to stand up and we're like a rubber band society, and one day they're going to stretch that so far that it just snaps on them. And you see the youth, they had their revolution, there was riots. Yeah, and enough people watched it and condescended on it and said all they're doing is looting shops, so they're not fighting for freedom. That's because we've never taught our youth to do nothing about freedom. We've taught them how to be materialistic. We've taught them to want Nike Air, not freedom. We've taught them that. Take some responsibility as adults and show your children and show your children's friends that there's a better world than Nike Air and there's a better world than TV, and the things that we're giving them to suckle on, to grow on, are not accurate to the way we should be living. Nature's an important thing to live by. Fuck the system, fuck the politics. Live by your own natural laws. You understand what's right and wrong. If you don't, then you're impaired and you need to work on yourself, and that's just the standard basics. But let's never condescend on our youth, because our youth are the future. And without our future, what's the point of being alive? Now, all of us should have enough respect to try and help the youths today rather than condescend on their actions. To me, I'm proud of the youths for looting and burning, because they stood up and done what's needed to be done for a long time, because they are being ignored. Their needs are being ignored. I see Poppy Day. I see people talking about people who died 70 years ago, acting like we must care so much about that, when I'm seeing children living today, dying from hunger. Fuck Poppy. Go and feed a fucking youth who's starving from poverty now, not 70 years ago. I ain't glad no one's dead. I'm just saying it's nice to look after people alive rather than pay for people who are already dead. Where's your money going? Where's it going? It ain't gonna save no one who's already dead. What about the youths who are dying? What about the people out there now dying? Life is a fucked up trip. Let's all of us take a little bit of time out to analyze ourselves and work out where we as individuals can contribute something better than just talking about doing something. Do something. It's important. Do it for yourself. Live your life. Make it a better life. Be the change you want to see in the world. Practice some kind of spirituality. I don't care where you get it from, but please, from the bottom of my heart, yeah, try and live good, man, and try and show the youths that's the way to live. And don't be afraid of change, and let's not let politicians run us into the ground. Our leaders mislead us. We should call them misleaders. You know, we should have a female prime minister so she could be misleader. That's what we need, you know, a misleader. They're misleading us. Everywhere they take us is misled. I don't want to be misled, you know what I mean? It seems pathetic to me that we allow it to carry on. I'm dribbling, I'm waffling, I like talking. I know you understand what I'm saying. Hip-hop people are a collective of people with a similar mind state, no matter what walk of life. I don't care what color, how wealthy your background is. I don't care where you come from. It ain't about rich, poor, black, white, Asian, nothing. To me, it's about human beings trying to come together like that and unify so we can have a bit of community spirit, because while they keep us divided and fighting each other over stupidness that don't real, then they're going to continue misleading us. So for me, it's up to us, you know. If there's something wrong in the world for you, don't just sit around going, fuck that, this is that, and this is that. Change it. Just change it. It's as simple as that. Change your mind state, change the way you view it, and stand up and be proud of yourself and tell them to fuck off. And it's real like that. And that's me, man. That's me. Now, on that note, This is what I hold closest to they're my two best friends. It's love and peace. It don't always work, man. Sometimes you just got to punch someone in the face, and it's as simple as that. But most of the time, we try and do that. For the times when you're feeling suppressed or oppressed by some kind of fascist force out there, we can, like all symbolism, like the swastika once used to be a Hindu symbol of constant energy flowing, and the chakras and the energy of chakras flowing, till Hitler come, twisted it up a little bit, and now to the whole world, it will always be a symbol of hatred. And there's a clever psychology in that, you know what I mean? That's a real fucked up psychology. But like all symbols, this is a symbol, and I'm gonna turn that round for the police officers out there, for the government out there. I'm gonna turn that round for the royal family who do nothing but live on the fucking stolen gold of countries they call third world. Fuck those. The reason they're third world, because you stole all their fucking assets. Give it back. Don't ask me for charity. Give their shit back. That's what I'm saying. But that's what we do. DJ, JCA, have we got that symphony?
That's for Rolf Harris. Fucking kangaroo.
Shadows wanna murder you with hypodermics to tackle the hypothermia. The dirty needles, the dealers who wanna shoot you with. These empty bottles, these demons will try to loot you with. If every king deserves a castle of his own, my kingdom's out of reach, cause this world has left me homeless. With no address, it's kinda hard to find a job still. The streets a little better than most of these dirty hostels. My only friend was found dying from an overdose. On a bitter night, they found her laying comatose. I'll be happy when it's over, clutching to these medals I was given as a soldier. For queen and country, fought to save her throne. The same queen and country have rendered me cold and homeless. If every king deserves a castle of his own, my kingdom's out of reach, cause this world has left me homeless. They keep on telling us there is no second night out, but I'll be sleeping rough for more than half my life now. It's kinda hard to find a purpose in this pipe smoke. I sit and wonder where the fuck did all my life go. The disenchantment is all that I got to call my own. These pissy steps to the shops is where I call my throne. If every king deserves a castle of his own, my kingdom's out of reach, cause this world has left me homeless. Can you fathom how it feels to watch the world going by while you're begging for a meal and no one looks you in your eyes? Can you fathom how it feels to watch the people pass by while they're shopping for a deal and never look you in your eyes?
Personally, it's not just about empty buildings for me, it's about allocation of resources and land and stuff like that. We don't need banks. What we need is houses, what we need is schools, hospitals, kitchens and things like that.
From a corner where these shadows wanna murder you with hypodermics to tackle the hypothermia. I'm trying to make it through the winter where the season's bad. The police officers came and they took my sleeping bag. If every king deserves a castle of his own, my kingdom's out of reach, cause this world has left me homeless. I'm losing dignity every time I choose to eat. And now there's metal spikes placed where I used to sleep. I used to play guitar and bask in the spotlight until I lost a couple fingers to the frostbite. And overall it's like I'm barely even visible. This mental struggle took its toll upon my physical. I sit and watch the street devoured by its own traps, and people wonder why the fuck I wanna smoke cracks. Cause every king deserves a kingdom of his own. My kingdom's out of reach, cause this world has left me homeless. They keep on telling us there is no second night out, but I'll be sleeping rough for more than half my life now. It's kinda hard to find a purpose in this pipe smoke. I sit and wonder where the fuck did all my life go. The disenchantment is all that I got to call my own. These pissy stairs to the shops are the place I call my home. If every king deserves a castle of his own, my kingdom's out of reach, cause this world has left me homeless. Can you fathom how it feels to watch the world going by while you're begging for a meal and no one looks you in your eyes? Can you fathom how it feels to watch the people pass by while they're shopping for a deal and never look you in your eyes?
People are sick of the way the government are running this country. It's time that we stand up, we make a change, and we are our own people. We run this place, not you.
This is power of the people, happening right before your very eyes. And the police are trying to smash it out, but it ain't gonna work. We're around the corner already. We've already got a new place. We've already got somewhere else so they can carry on. My mum's a single mum. She's raised 2 kids on working. We didn't get to see our mum for most of our childhood because she was working all the time. She didn't, and then when she comes home, she's too tired to look after us. And this is why, people are docile, you see. People don't have the time to think about the bigger picture because they're worried about putting food in their kids' mouths and clothing their kids. The people don't have time to come out and do everything like this. There's traps upon traps upon traps in the system that mean people are living on the streets. There's 10 buildings to every 1 homeless person.